Hey guys, Justin here from JHart Modelworks. I managed to get a hold of another one of my Holy Grail kits, but is it always a good thing to meet your heroes? Join me as we take a look at the Testors Pantera GTS and find out. Welcome to my workbench. Let's get started.
Alright guys, here we go. Just a quick look at the box art. There are some nice shots there. Let's go ahead and open it up. It was all originally bagged. I have gotten the parts out of the bags because I've been doing a little bit of testing, mostly just taking measurements. We have our instructions, which are fold-out instructions, and they are pretty basic. There's all of 3 actual steps. There's more advertising than instructions, actually. The screenshots, I'll post screenshots up here real quick. All right. We have our body. Something I am noticing, there are some pretty sharp mold seams on here, especially on the spoiler. Nothing you can't really clean up. There's some raised lettering, but it's not really raised enough that you could detail paint that. So there's some locating points in here for the glass, and these locating points do create sinks on the hood. So that is going to require some filling and sanding. A lot of times I use CA glue to fill sink marks, but I think this is going to require some actual putty work. So there are some mounting points on the inside here. This is some really bad ejector pin marks. These are pretty terrible. These are some mount points for the glass, and those mount points create some really bad sink marks on the hood. So we're definitely going to want to fill these. A lot of times I use CA glue for sink marks, but these are pretty bad. We may end up actually having to bust out some putty. Another thing that I have noticed is the car has like side markers like it's a road car. Then it's got things like this rivet detail at the bottom, which is absolutely not on any of the road cars. These hood straps are like a racing type deal, but they're not a reference point on any of the road cars or the race cars. So we're going to be removing those. And our windshield wipers are molded in. They're not molded in well. We may try to clean these out and replace them with some 3D printing. We may just leave them and see what we can do with them. Now normally I would consider removing this and replacing it with some mesh, as well as this one back here, but it's a curbside kit and there's nothing back behind it, so we're not going to mess with that either. Maybe there's supposed to be some decals in the kit that I just didn't get, but these are the only decals in my box. I'm currently working on trying to build myself a decal set. We do have a part which fell off of here, but that's our dashboard. A couple of our chassis pieces. The wheels are pretty cool, but they are solid. Brake pedals, rearview mirror, handbrake. do have our steering wheel. It's actually not bad. I 3D printed a Momo wheel, but it looks almost exactly like this. These are the front suspension uprights and our mirrors. I'm not fond of the mirrors. We may try to replace these with some 3D prints. We may keep them. We'll see. A couple of parts that are loose in the bag. This is an old kit, but all the parts are there. We have the bottom of the seat. And some part of the chassis, maybe? Might be part of the battery compartment. This was originally designed to be kind of a toy, which I'll show you here in the chassis panel. Is your front suspension drops in here, which doesn't really exist because that's your front suspension. And then there's a battery cover piece that glues in, that we're going to glue in there and try to fill that out. Make that lot look quite so toy-like. But let's face it, it's pretty toy-like. You are supposed to install the axle through here. It's just a metal axle. And there's a gear piece that goes right here, and it was originally meant to have like a little battery powered motor, so you basically just plug your battery in and set it down and it goes. We have the seat components. There's a base and then the back. Exhaust tips, I'm not even certain what that is. Our gear shift knob. Fairly basic steering column. And these are the mufflers. I have no idea what this piece is. We have the ends of the spoiler, with the door cards, our center console, some part of the chassis maybe. And the middle of the spoiler, again, we got a bunch of that rivet detail as if it's a race car, but it's a road car. There's the spoiler uprights, and that is the center console. It's supposed to be our stereo right there, and some gauges, switches. We have clear parts, which, for as old as this kit is, they're not terrible. I'm not going to be using these side windows because I don't like them. And none of the road cars use this style of side window. That's a race car style side window. It's like they couldn't figure out if they wanted to do the race car or the road car. There's some rear glass, engine bay glass, rear quarter windows. Angry cat that wants food. This is what I was talking about with that rear axle. Just got a gear in there for a motor. It's just a solid metal axle that goes across the rear end. We have some tires, which are basically racing slicks and look like they've degraded. Our fronts are pretty much the same, and then you get two little metal pins to mount the front wheels. Alright guys, that's going to be it for the unboxing. I've already got the color planned out. I'm not thinking this is going to be more than a week or two long project. It's definitely not going to be a series. Not even sure I'm going to do build videos on it. I may just do a couple of updates, or just put a couple of updates in the middle and bind them into one video. We'll see. But it should be a pretty fun, quick mojo kind of booster build. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me and going through the box. And I'll catch you on the next one.